Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday. Hope you're all well. If you're watching live, please pop in and say hello. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for coming back to watch. I really appreciate you taking the time. Now, today we are going to talk about how you can stop replaying those old money stories. Okay. Now, if you are not where you want to be with regards to money, then you do have some blocks, and go back through my feed and have a look. I did a live around how to identify what your blocks are, because sometimes they're not what we think they are. Okay, so today though, we're going to talk about how to stop those stories from replaying, because chances are we've all had a bad experience with money at some point along the way. Okay, could be that you had an investment go wrong. Maybe you got into property and you lost money that way instead of making money. We certainly did that. It was, gosh, back when we only had 2 children, so at least 15 years ago. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. But we lost money when people were making money in property. It could be that you had bad advice. It could have just been a bad decision. Often there's a lack of education. That was certainly, we had a combination of things for our property experience. But we also, people lose money because they don't do enough due diligence. We don't ask enough questions, or we don't ask the right people the right questions. All right. You don't know what you don't know. And sometimes we can go into these things a little bit blindly, and then things go wrong. And of course, when they do go wrong, we get very scarred by them, especially when it comes to money, because we all work hard for our money, and we know that we need money and all of those things. So the fear of losing money is very real, and sometimes right in people's faces. Okay. So all of these things are very understandable. However, you don't want to stay in that mindset. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, because a lot of the time as well, especially when it comes to money, there is a lot of focus on blame. Okay. Why did this go wrong? Whose fault was it? And we want to be able to blame someone, or that person over there didn't tell us enough, or that person over there is a bad person, a scammer or something, or the property market is not as good as everyone thinks. There's a lot of finger pointing that happens when it comes to money, and we can then get caught up in our heads with all the shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't, and the more we replay those stories in our heads, we get upset about it. We feel all that anger, the blame, the resentment, the fear. We feel it all again, and it's making the connection stronger in our brains. This is what happens when we relive events that have happened in the past, and we feel that emotion. So that makes it harder for us to then let go of these old money stories. Okay, that fear of repeating our mistakes, it makes us focus on what went wrong, which keeps us within that story. And when we're in that story and we're saying those stories in our head, and you don't have to consciously be saying them all the time, they're things that it's like the underlying belief that you've got going on. So that's the energy you're sending out. So of course you're going to then be attracting people and events and circumstances and opportunities that are not going to work for you, okay, because of that energy exchange. So we lose trust in ourselves, we can lose trust in others, and we can stop trying again, or taking what we perceive now to be a really high risk. Okay. Now, I get all of that. I understand all of that. I've been through all of that. So now I want to help you to move past that, because you can move past that if you want to move past that. Okay. And people will think, oh, of course I do. However, the way that you're going to remember too, the way your unconscious mind works, it's going to move you towards pleasure and away from pain. But sometimes it has to move you away from the lesser of two pains. Okay. So if the pain of around the fear of losing money is bigger than the disappointment is not the right word, or the not feeling very happy about where you are currently in your money situation, that fear of losing money is bigger than this pain of staying where you are. So your unconscious mind won't allow you to move towards the pain. It will move you away from that, which will keep you stuck in the where you are, in the sameness of where you are. Okay. So having that awareness on how that works as well is going to help you in your steps to move past all of your previous money fears. Okay. So the first thing, or the best thing that you can do really when it comes to past mistakes is learn from them. Okay. Don't focus on the blame. So when we got into that property, so we bought a property, it was an old property, and the plan was we would renovate it and then we would sell it and make a profit. Okay. So flipping houses, right? So we thought, okay, easy peasy, we can do that. Matt's a carpenter. It's all really good. But what we did was that we went in with a bit of a half-assed plan. It was like we hadn't made a firm decision on whether we were going to renovate and then sell it as quickly as possible, or if we were going to renovate it and then get some tenants in there. So we were kind of on the fence, and we didn't take a strong direction of what we were going to do. So we kind of floundered a little bit. Okay. Now, when I say we lost money, we didn't lose money per se, but we didn't actually get ahead like we wanted to, or how we thought we would. It didn't go to plan. Okay. And there were so many lessons that we learned along the way. So if we ever do get into property again, it will be very different because we won't make those same mistakes. So this is where it's not about blaming. There were so many things we could have blamed. However, that is not going to help the situation. That's going to keep us in that cycle. Okay. So instead, we took a step back and going, okay, well, this is where we could have done this differently, this differently, this differently, this differently. All right. We learned a lot from it. So if you're able to remove yourself a little bit and look at things objectively, because you don't want to do the same mistakes, that's just silly to do that. You want to learn from them, but learn in a way where you will do it differently, do it better, so that you will still take the action. Okay. You don't want to shut the door firmly on that. Now, we haven't gotten back into property since then. However, the door is not shut. Okay. The door's not shut. We might in the future. That's all I'm saying to you. You don't have to do the same thing again in the same sort of vehicle again. However, just don't shut that door firmly, because then that closes everything off, because it perpetuates that fear. Okay. Instead, change your perspective. All right. Change how you look at the situation. So that's what we did. We looked at it, and instead of blaming and feeling sorry for ourselves and all of that sort of thing, we looked at it and go, okay, well, that didn't go to plan. However, this is the reasons why. So we can see clearly what we would need to do differently next time. Okay. And just as importantly, change how you feel about money, because money is just the currency of the day. That's it. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just what we need to exchange and get through life. All right. Okay. So back in May last year, I made a really firm decision, and I want to talk to you guys about the power of making decisions. So what I was saying before with that property, we were on the fence. We were sort of half doing the rental, half doing the renovation. We hadn't made a firm decision of this is how we want it to work. When you make a decision, everything is able to then line up. Okay. So the power of a decision is incredible. And back in May 2024, I made a decision to take charge of our financial future. Okay. And since then, the stars have been lining up, whatever you want to call it, but the people and the opportunities have come into my universe, into my reality of where I want to go. All right. Now, 2025 for me and my family is all about growing assets. Now, assets are things that put money in your pocket. Your house is not an asset. Okay. If you're paying a mortgage, if there's repairs and maintenance, there's rates, there's, I don't know, what else do we pay on our house? They're the main things, right? So that is money that is going out. Your house does not bring money in unless you sell it. But then make sure that you take into account, what you paid for it, what all the expenses have been over time. You might be a little bit shocked as to see that you haven't actually made this huge profit that you think you have. Okay. So a positively geared house, though, is an investment. So that's one where your expenses are smaller than the income, so the rent that you're getting coming in, right? I'm not going to go into that, but 2025 is all about growing assets for our family. And if you're interested in that, go read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he explains it really, really well. Okay, so let me give you some practical tips to move forward and to start changing those money stories, okay? Number one, get really clear on what you want your future to look like. Now, when I say clear, you don't have to know the how and the detail. You do need to know, okay, I want there to be more money coming in than going out, okay? It could be that general. But be clear that that is what you want, not this. Don't settle, oh, we're okay, and whatever, as long as we can pay the bills, I'm happy. If that's true for you, then that's true for you. But if you want more than that, say that you want more than that. And you don't have to announce it to the world, announce it to yourself. Be clear for yourself, okay? Take your head out of the sand and face the reality of where you are and where you want to go. And then, if where you are, if you're happy, fantastic, keep doing that. If what you're doing is not going to put you in a better position and you're not happy about that, then do something about it, okay? We live in the information age. There are so many people that you can follow, that you can get advice from. Just make sure you do your due diligence. All right. The best way, obviously, is if you know somebody, you know them personally, or if you know somebody who knows somebody. Okay. And there's that connection there that you're talking to a real person and that they're actually doing what you want to be doing. All right. Also, decide that your past has nothing to do with your future. Your past is your past. That's it. It only will determine your future if you bring it into your now and continue it to project into your future, okay? There are so many people who have had nothing, who have turned that around because they decided they wanted more. So if they can do it, you can do it. You don't have to do it exactly the same way as them. All you need to know that it is possible. When things are possible, that gives that hope. Okay, so decide that your past does not have to determine your future. And stop telling your old stories. So what I was saying earlier, when we keep telling those stories, we feel the emotion again. It keeps the story and the vibration active in our now. And that means if that is our now vibration, then our future is going to be filled with things that match that vibration. Okay, stop telling your old stories. If you catch yourself telling them again, good. It's a good thing. Acknowledge, oh, here we go. I'm telling that old story again. I don't want to be telling that. So I'm going to either refocus on something else or reframe it to something positive. Even if it's something, it doesn't have to be specifically about that thing. Even if it's something like, my past doesn't determine my future. It could be something simple like that, okay? So stop telling those stories, reframe them to something positive. So that's going to change how you feel about money as well. And start to look for the positives. When you are doing things well, when you are budgeting, when you are paying your bills on time, when you are putting money aside, when you're making choices that are moving you forward in your money experience, celebrate that, acknowledge that. Because the more that you do that, the more that we focus on what is going well, because there are things that go well. We just are very much trained to look at what's not going well, and we focus in on that. If you can do that around the things that are going well, that is going to change your vibration. All right, you're going to allow the law of attraction to do its thing. It's going to bring you more things into your life where you are feeling good about money. Okay, and don't get too caught up as well on it being specifically around money. It's just abundance. All right, it's just abundance, and if you can focus on that vibration, that's going to change what you then are attracting back into your life. Okay, and then once you're doing all of these things, I think it's not the most important one. It's because your vibration is the most important. This one is equally as important. You need to take action on the opportunities that show up. All right. When you ask for what you want and you get your vibration to that higher positive level, things will come into your life. You need to take action on them. Do your due diligence, ask lots of questions, do whatever makes you feel comfortable to know that you are on the right path, but you have to take action. You have to take action. All right. There's a story about a man, and he's out in the middle of the ocean, and he's drowning, and he's saying, God, please save me, save me. So the little fishing boat comes past, and the people on the boat say, mate, get in the boat, we'll take you to shore. No, God's going to save me. And he's out in the ocean, and he's like, God, please save me. And another boat comes past, and they're saying, here, jump on the boat, we'll send you to shore. No, God's going to save me. And this happened again and again. And then the man ended up drowning. And then he says to God, why didn't you save me? He said, well, I sent you 3 boats. All right. You've got to take the action on those opportunities, but go in with your eyes open. Educate yourself. And that is going to then ensure that you're not going to repeat the mistakes of the past. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope that you will do some of those things that I've suggested there for you and start to change that story. And if you need more inspiration, go and find some stories about people who have started with nothing and have created incredible wealth for themselves. Okay. If you're looking for evidence, it is out there. If you have that little voice go, oh yeah, but it's fine for them. No. They started with nothing and they built something up out of that. You don't have to do exactly what they did. All I want you to take from those stories is that it is possible. Be inspired by it. Feel good about money. Change your relationship with money. Change your vibration around money, because that is then going to change what you attract into your life around money. Okay? Be mindful of any head chatter. All right. And when you hear it, just acknowledge it and go, oh, okay, well, that's an interesting story. And that's why I'm still trapped in this little cycle. So then decide, I don't want that one anymore. It's not working for me. Okay. It's not working for me. So change it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a great book. Robert Kiyosaki, that's going to help you shift your mindset. It'll also raise your financial intelligence. Okay, education is really key around finance. Doesn't mean you have to become a financial guru. You just need to be more educated around it. And it's one of those gradual things. Okay, get more educated as you go. Don't wait, though, to have some sort of master's before you take action. All right. Find people who are successful and they are doing what you want to do. That is so important. They have to be doing it, not just talking about it in theory. Okay? Stalk them, do your due diligence, educate yourself. So, your financial future, it starts with the decision that you make today. So, have a think about everything that I've said here and what is one small action that you can take today? And then continue to take those small actions, because the small actions add up to something really, really big. Thank you again, everyone. Have an amazing Wednesday. And I will see you again on Friday. We're going to be talking about your health. All right. Bye bye.